All right, so just in case you missed it during the introduction, our new unit is Latin America. Our essential question is analyze and evaluate the relationship between humans and the physical environment. Our focus question for today is determine how physical geography impacts the settlement of an area. All right, so you're going to go ahead and get your Cornell notes set up just the way that we always have. You're going to title it Unit 3, Latin America. You're going to write the essential question on the top, analyze and evaluate the relationship between humans and the physical environment. Now, what's really great about doing these lectures in a video format is that you can pause as needed, rewind, repeat, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're getting the information at the pace that works best for you. So just because, someone may work faster, someone may work slower, you're able to modify the lesson to meet your needs. All right, so when talking about this region, Latin America, we are going to focus on Central America, the Caribbean, and South America. All right, so looking at the major geographical features found in Central America, we are going to look in Panama, which is located, this is Panama City. There, we're going to make sure that we note about the Panama Canal, which was constructed. You saw that in some of the videos that we watched during our U.S. and Canada unit. It was constructed to cut the travel time that it took to get around South America. So you no longer had to go down and around South America. You could just cut through. And that made a big difference in trade. There are 3 mountain ranges in this area and 29 active or partially active volcanoes. All right, moving down to South America, we have some major geographical features here. And you guys want to be aware of these for the test. So particularly along the west coast of the South American continent, we see the Andes Mountains. And then you have the Amazon Basin right in here. And there's the Brazilian Highlands and the Pampas. The Rio Grande. So we talked about the Rio Grande when we were talking about the border between the United States and Mexico. So just a refresher here, the Rio Grande is in fact the river that runs in between the United States and Mexico. All right, so during our last unit, we learned about the Rocky Mountains. We learned that the Rocky Mountains are a major mountain range in the United States that continue up into Canada. But they also continue south into Mexico. And once they hit Mexico, they become known as the Sierra Madres Mountains. All right, South America contains the longest river in the Western Hemisphere. It is located just south of the equator in South America. It's a major riverway in South America, and you will need to be aware of that for the test. Because of the geography of Central and South America, it really limits where the people can settle. Very few people live in the interior of South America. Most people have settled along the coast. So you can really see that over here in this population density map that was taken at night, where you can see where the light is. You can really see how scarce it is in the middle and in the southern tip. There's really nothing in the southern tip, but it is heavily lit along the edges. So South America has a lot of mountains and plateaus, which offer a cool climate, lots and lots of natural resources. And that attracted people to come to South America. But because of those landforms, the resources are distributed unevenly. So what we've learned in past units is that when resources are distributed unevenly, so are the populations. You'll see an area with a lot of people living there because that's where the resources are, and then an area with really nobody because there just isn't much there. So kind of jumping off that, where people tend to settle where there's resources. A prime example of that would be the southern tip. I mentioned earlier, there's nobody living there. And the reason for that is because it is a desert, the Patagonian desert. So there's no resources there. Therefore, people chose not to settle there when they could come to areas further north where it was abundant in resources. All right, so I want you to go ahead and create a minimum of 5 questions. Remember to use spacing and that your questions should be answered by the notes that are directly across from it. This is going to help you when you study for your test. So with the last unit, we did a project that we built on every day and then you turned it in. We're going to use that same concept. We're not going to do a culture box though. This is going to be a project of choice, but it is going to be a culminating project. So every day you're going to work on it and then you'll turn it in the day of your test. Your test is going to be Monday, February 8th, which is listed right here. So your test will be that day and that is when this will be due as well. So for this assignment, you can choose to work independently or with one partner. We cannot do groups of 3. So if you're one of those people that want to work alone, awesome, do it. If you're one of those people that prefer to have a partner, you may have one partner. You're going to make a choice here if you want to do a children's book, a 6-pane drawing, or Google Slides. I have rubrics and pacing guides in eBackpack. I'm going to ask that you go and review those after we finish this presentation and you made your choice of what your final project is going to look like. Alright, so just to give you some background before you make your choice, the children's book, you are going to be required to have a cover with a color illustration, title, and of course your name. You will need to have a minimum of 6 pages worth of content covering geography, history, and culture, and the rubric tells you exactly what should be on each page. Each page will contain no more than 2 sentences and at least 1 color illustration. The book can tell a story or it can be straight informational in nature. Spelling, grammar, and punctuation, of course, will count. This is an option that you can do paper-based or digital, whether you have an iPad or not. So that'll be your decision. Alright, a window pane drawing. I put an image here to give you an example of that because a lot of people aren't very familiar with it. Of course, I expect yours to be a little higher in quality. This is from an elementary student. You will have to have a minimum of 6 panes. Each square that you see is considered a pane. Sorry about that. Let me get you. So each little square is a pane. A pane should focus on geography, history, and culture. Each pane should contain a fact or idea relating to the region. Each pane needs to have a color illustration and no more than 1 sentence. Spelling, grammar, punctuation count. Again, the rubric will tell you exactly what needs to be in each pane. This option is paper-based only. So you cannot complete this on the iPad. If you have an iPad, this is still available to you. You just would have to complete it on paper. Alright, and your final option will be a Google Slides presentation. This presentation will be a minimum of 8 slides, must contain a title slide with image and your name. Each slide must contain 10 or fewer words, so you cannot have more than 10 words on one slide. And then, of course, a minimum of 1 image. Slides must focus on geography, history, and culture, spelling, grammar, punctuation count. And obviously this one can only be completed digitally. So if you have an iPad, no problem. If you're one of the paper-based people and you don't have an iPad, but you can use your phone or a personal tablet, that's totally fine with me. But what you cannot do is say, oh, I'm going to work on it at home and then sit in class and do nothing. So be aware of that. If you don't have a way to work on it in class, I could send you to the library or you could choose a different option. Okay, so today's goals, obviously number 1, finish your notes and questions. Once you've done that, you're going to decide what your final product is, if you're going to work with a partner or solo, and if you are going to work with a partner, who that partner is going to be. Then you're going to go into eBackpack. You're going to review the rubric for the choice that you made, and you're going to complete day 1's requirements. So on that rubric, you'll see the pacing guide that tells you what you need to have done every day to stay on track, and then you'll see the rubric. And all rubrics for all 3 choices are on one document. So you need to scroll until you find the choice that you made. Okay, I'm going to stop you 6 minutes before the bell. That will give you 3 minutes to complete the exit ticket and then 3 minutes to pack up. So I'll let you know when it's time. You'll go into eBackpack, you'll open the exit ticket assignment and submit your answer. And of course, if you're paper-based, then the FQ is on the board. You'll respond to the FQ and put that in the drawer before you leave.